Hey guys, this is Robin Renegade, and you're listening in on Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the show at Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers on Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox. Sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code Wrestling with E for 10% off your next purchase. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James Shea, alongside the leader of Squaw Squad, Kaliko Yachts.
You know what? I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something.
Redeemed from a Saturday show. And the American Scooter Dust.
I love. God! If you see a crime at an Apple store, are you an eyewitness? I love telling dad jokes. Sometimes he even laughs.
Well, you can see what this episode is going.
If somebody tells a dad joke and they're not a dad, does that make them a faux pas? No, pizza jokes, too cheesy. Had to sell my vacuum cleaner. All it was doing was gathering dust. Velcro is a ripoff. If the early bird gets the worm, you know what? I'll sleep in until there's pancakes.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated.
I went to a very beautiful wedding. Even the cake was in tears. Oh, we could go all night with this.
Let's get into why we're actually here. Happy 4th of July, everybody. If you're spending it with us, I'm very sorry. Sorry, plans got canceled. That damn Corona.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm Canadian.
Oh, you decided to move. American from Canada, finally.
I'm an American from Luxembourg.
Of course, this upcoming Wednesday, you could listen to our interview with Janai Kai up before AEW Dynamite. But for right now, we are wrestling with the WWE United States Championship. It's
Okay.
the most long tenured championship in all of pro wrestling, to be honest. But it kind of seems like it doesn't maybe get as much love as other championships that are out there that were maybe not as prevalent at the time. Kaliko, you had something to say about that?
Well, I was going to say, it felt like you say WWE, but they just picked it up. Like,
Very true.
I feel like the U.S. title was like the foster child of championship.
I mean, it goes NWA United States Heavyweight Championship Mid-Atlantic version, NWA United States Undisputed version, WCW United States Heavyweight, WCW
Champion.
United States, WWE United States.
Yeah, it's had its fair share of name changes.
5 incarnations, all with the same lineage.
And it's the only belt where it actually like kind of carries the lineage in a sense.
And it was
from all the promotions, because
it was the last belt to be redesigned.
Yeah.
In WWE,
Yeah.
We've talked about that on the show before. The design of the new United States Championship. Since we've had some time to sit with it, is it better? Do you still kind of feel the same way that you did when we first talked about it?
I mean, it's I really wish it displayed more of the flag instead of just using the stripes for the wings of the eagle on the belt.
Very true. And we're gonna talk about our top 5 United States champions of all time. Kalika, you wanna start us off?
Are we going from 5 to 1 or?
Personally, I did no particular order.
No particular order. Got
But
it.
Okay.
I mean, you could do any order you'd like.
Now keep in mind, yeah, no particular order. So I'm going to start it off, and you can't say the U.S. title without mentioning Harley Race, because Harley Race was the very first United States champion, especially in an era where it it meant a lot to kind of be an American per se in the 70s. Um, Plus, it's Harley fucking Race. He's like the guy that wrestles bears, and they
Yeah.
would, whatever.
He could walk on any street in any town in any place in the world, and you would know he was the baddest motherfucker ever.
Funny thing about that is that Harley Race after that never had another reign with the United States title.
That's correct. His reign
That
lasted
is
for
correct.
173 days.
83
83.
from my records here.
Yep. And he's the only one, but he's the one that set it off, and winning it in a tournament, beating Johnny Weaver to become the inaugural NWA United States Heavyweight Champion for the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling. So without that, this title wouldn't even have lineage per se. And plus,
And you think it's the guy that kind of made the belt at that point? Because, Harley Race was a name before winning that championship. Um, so you already got that name factor associated with that belt. You know what I'm
oh
saying?
yes, kind of like what New Japan did with Kenny Omega winning the IWGP US title.
Right.
Okay. Shall I go next?
There was only one for Kalika.
I thought we were going one at a time.
Oh, I'll let him go. He can go one at a time. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay,
Don't
yeah,
feel like
I'm fine with
we're
that.
bogging.
All right. I'm torn here because I have one for an honorable mention.
You did
And I
6,
think,
is what you're saying.
yeah, because
Bring it. Bring it.
All right. We're gonna go with the first African American United States champion, Bobo Brazil.
Good one.
Not, and the funny thing about it is that he only held the belt for about 3 weeks. But do you know the date he won it? 7/7/77.
Wow.
In 7/7/77. Lucky sevens.
And there would not be another African American United States champion oh wow, oh my god. Until Booker T.
In WCW.
in WCW. Well, in general, that's the next in the lineage.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bubba Ray was also the 8th ever champion, and he held it for 22 days.
Yes. And by that time, he beat Blackjack Mulligan, who was already on his 3rd reign with the title.
Which is kind of crazy. Out of 8 champions at that time, Blackjack Mulligan was 3 of them.
They had 3 reigns within 2 years. Yep.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was the guy that was like the credible dude. Like if you beat Blackjack Mulligan at that point, like you were the guy. You were kind of made.
Blackjack Mulligan maybe an underappreciated, maybe somebody we don't talk about a lot, but maybe should. I mean, he was a prominent member of WWE in the backstage, for a long time. So.
Oh, he ain't underrated in the South. That's for damn sure. But like between Blackjack Mulligan, Harley Race, Jerry Lawler, Dusty Rhodes, it's a handful of people that kind of get named, and yeah, he's there.
I mean, he's the man. He gave us Barry Windham and Bray Wyatt.
Pretty much. His DNA is more contribution.
Anything else we want to talk about Brazil? All right.
I am.
I mean, it's on the shorter side of the shortest reigns, so there you go.
Now, you might be a little shocked as to why I picked this one, but when I thought about the United States Championship, I thought of John Cena. Which was more recent, but you can't say that he didn't really elevate that championship at that time. If we're talking about 2015, challenge fighting, younger talent, even though he beat all of them, and maybe had some of the best matches of his career at that time. John Cena had 5 reigns as the United States champion, for a combined of 403 days.
Also, the first title he put a spinner on. So
yes,
there's that.
I mean, I could honestly say John Cena had better United States Championship rivalries than he did WWE Championship rivalries.
Jesus.
True, because the U.S. title run, and especially in the second one, the loss was to Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Of all people.
And the first one, I mean, you do remember when Carlito had that guy stab John Cena in the nightclub that one time?
Yes. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Jesus.
And then the WrestleMania match with Big Show where he hit him with the chain, and he did the AA on him, and that was like his coming out party, if you will.
Which essentially
put him on Orlando Jordan.
Huh?
But then having to job to Orlando Jordan.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. He got the championship, the WWE championship a month later. So, I mean,
it was kind of like, here, take this L just to go get this.
Orlando Jordan is what? Masturbating.
The upgrade. The upgrade.
I mean, yeah, he jobbed to Orlando Jordan, but I mean, Orlando Jordan jobbed to Chris Benoit 15 times in like under 30 seconds. So, I mean, it was kind of.
That doesn't look good on John Cena losing to the guy that jobbed to Chris Benoit 15 times in 30 minutes.
Who then also jobbed to Chris Benoit taking a piss.
That is very true. And
There
drinking.
are other things I can do. There are other things that take me more than 30 seconds. This is one of them. Walks off screen. We hear zips up fly despite not having a fly.
Exactly. Zipping a flyer in trunks. Come on, bro.
So yeah, John Cena, one of my picks. Kaliko, what's your second pick?
The second pick was actually a name that Scooter mentioned, Booker T. And the reason for Booker T is because there have been 4 men that have won the U.S. title and a heavyweight championship simultaneously. But only 2 of them have actually defended the belt while holding the heavyweight championship. And Booker T is one of those men.
Goldberg would be the other, I believe.
Nope. Goldberg vacated the title after he won it.
Seth Rollins
Seth.
was one of them.
Seth Rollins was the other.
Yep.
But Booker T is, yes, he is on my list. He was amongst, keep in mind, he was the last WCW US champ at that time before it crossed over into WWE.
No, Chris Canyon was the last.
Was he?
No. Canyon was given the belt like it was a. Like it was a prop.
Yeah, but Booker T was the last, like, as far as like TV show, like the actual running of WCW. Because keep in mind, he was the last. Yeah, he was the last WCW and heavyweight champion and U.S. title. He had them both at the same time. He rolled up in that bitch and had both of them hoes.
Yeah, that's right.
So Booker T.
And Booker T also had like 2, maybe 3 best of 7 matches in WWE as United States champion, fighting John Cena, Chris Benoit, just to name a couple.
He also had the best of 7 in WCW, Chris Benoit too.
So yeah, there's a.
Yeah.
Booker T definitely has a lot of history with that belt. He had 4 reigns for a total of 271 days. And he was also on my list, so we could deduct that off of mine. Scooter, who you got up next?
Okay. Only because this was so out of the ordinary that I had to do a double take. And my next pick is One Man Gang.
I mean, who actually remembers One Man Gang as the United
Wow.
States champion?
I do,
Wow.
because he beat Kensuke Sasaki for it at Starrcade in a dark match, and they legitimized the reign.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, they weren't sure if they were going to if they were going to legitimize it. It had something to do with them wanting. It had something to do with Sasaki not wanting to drop the belt. Back, I think in Japan, there's some controversy to it because this was supposed to lead to the next champion anyway. But I mean, seeing the One Man Gang like 10 years, and I'm not counting his time as Akeem. and just showing up in WCW and just it's like and if we were doing WCW television champions, this would be the Honky Tonk Man for me. It just stuck with me.
And one man gang, that was his only reign as champion, and it lasted 32 days. My second pick is Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero. And, I got a soft spot for Eddie because he was actually the first United States champion I remember seeing on TV. And, you know, Eddie always made what he did memorable, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Funny note about Eddie Guerrero is that he's won both the WCW version of the U.S. title and the WWE
version of the U.S. title.
After it's been either vacated or brought in.
True. And he had the classic match with Dean Malenko. Oh my God. Like, I could see them wrestle forever.
Well,
I kind of remember from his title reign was the rivalry with Big Show. And you kind of remember what happened in there.
Yeah.
It definitely left a bad smell in my nose.
Some might say it was the drizzling shits.
There you go. So yeah, Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat. And we're back to Calico. Oh, actually, Eddie Guerrero had 2 reigns for 161 days combined.
My next pick is the actual other guy that actually had won the belt and defended it simultaneously, Seth Rollins. And the reason being is because mainly in the storyline, because if you remember right, John Cena was going against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the possible tying reign of Ric Flair.
Yes.
Thus, Jon Stewart comes out of nowhere and helps Seth win the title just because he did not want to see the record broken, which I must say is the most fanboy shit to ever do. Is to interfere in a match in which you didn't want the reign to be broken. Although his reign was short,
he lost it like a month later back to John Cena, I believe.
That is true. But I feel that SummerSlam, that match was the hottest match. One of the hottest matches where it was a title versus title. And he also did a double duty in which he defended the U.S. title and the WWE Championship in the same night. So, very rarefied air.
Which was actually Sting's last match for 7 years.
Exactly. So Seth Rollins literally is just either breaking people all off. It got like this weird mojo around him, but Seth Rollins, he was the second man to ever defend the title, both titles simultaneously.
He held it for 28 days.
And plus, he came in that White Ranger suit, which was fucking sweet.
Scooter?
You have chosen Steve. Never mind.
I knew you were going to say that.
My next pick, believe it or not, was already mentioned by Kaliko, and I'm referring to Dean Malenko.
The man of
One,
1,000 homes.
but not 1004.
Nope.
March 16th, 1997. What an uncensored. This was a defining shift to me in terms of blurring the line between cruiserweights and heavyweights.
Heavyweights, exactly.
Because it showed that you could be less than 220 pounds and still hold a major title. I mean, you could still be boring as shit, but you could still hold a title. Not to mention, I think he had some of his greatest matches with Jeff Jarrett.
When's the last time
Those
Jeff Jarrett had a good match?
those are some damn good matches.
And yes, Dean Malenko. I mean, Dean Malenko is a great wrestler, but I feel like we don't maybe give him his flowers, as Felipe would say, as much.
Oh no, Dean Malenko was fuck. He couldn't talk or shit, but that dude, his style was just like
And
he was. I could make an argument. He was kind of Daniel Bryan-esque.
I
Not
mean,
as far as like athleticism, but as far as technicality, hell yeah.
you want to slide into that DM? And not to mention he had, I think, some of the one of the best instrumental themes of all time.
It just sounded like a horror film.
Malenko, Dean Malenko,
That was Rey
Dean
Mysterio's
Malenko.
song. Was the dun 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 dun. That was Rey Mysterio.
It was also Dean Malenko.
Yeah, they gave it to Dean Malenko after Ray.
Oh
Yep.
God, why?
Because it fit his stone cold personality.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I always think of Nightmare Before Christmas when I hear that song. I don't know why.
It sounds like a horror movie mixed with a horror movie score mixed with a detective score, like Monk meets Friday the 13th or some shit.
Wow, that is that's definitely visual. Dean Malenko held the championship once for a total of 85 days.
Yeah, we were wrong on the theme music. It was dun 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 dun. Dun. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh.
That's what it was. I should have had Ray.
My next pick, and this is maybe a little lost history at this point, Magnum TA, who wrestled the biggest match of his life against Tully Blanchard in an I Quit match that was also in a cage.
No.
And essentially that was it for him, honestly. That was the kind of hurrah, his last hurrah. And it was for that championship. So that's kind of want to kind of give Magnum TA his flowers. If you
And yeah, and obviously the oddest pairing as Magnum TA would go on to be the stepfather of Tully Blanchard's daughter Tessa. Yeah, it's just a whole thing. There's a whole thing there. there's a whole thing going on.
Good inbreeding.
Over there. That's a whole situationship if I ever had some. God.
Yeah, who actually won that match? Magnum TA. In more ways than one.
Oh yeah, he did. Got the match. Got the chick. Came stepdad. Yeah, whole thing.
To a
And
racist
almost like
slaughter.
it's almost like he almost. It's like they almost had a bet backstage. Loser gets the wife.
Who knows? Maybe
Winner
Tony
gets.
was wanting to lose that match.
Oh yeah, he was.
But
Oh, I'm
loser.
John.
It was more of a Magnum FU.
The opposite of Mil Mascaras, Ayab.
Yeah. Get the belt. Get the woman. Get the flowers. I'm good.
I'm good.
Uh,
Oh
Magnum
God.
TA. I just lost my Magnum TA. Oh, here we
Two
go.
reigns
2
for
reigns,
182.
302 days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kaliko, you're up next.
The next guy on my list actually was the only person to unify the title, Nikita Koloff.
Ah.
Nikita Koloff, one reign, 328 days. Um, ends up beating Wahoo McDaniel to unify the NWA National.
Wahoo!
Wahoo! Um, he unified the NWA National Heavyweight Championship, which now is, I think, back in play at NWA. And it was the only match where those two belts got unified and took in the lineage of the United States Championship on September 28th, 1986.
Definitely, definitely a good one. Nikita Koloff, 328 days. Incredible. Scooter,
Is anybody else hear crickets?
I think those are on your mind.
Probably from my dad jokes.
No, like somebody outside, or like am I hearing them from outside? 'Cause I don't know, but
I'm in the
I,
backyard though, and them
okay.
motherfuckers are loud.
Uh, another little piece of lost history here. Someone we don't really associate with having the United States title. Someone who would win it not just in, at two different times, but in two different decades. And if we had waited any longer, possibly even centuries. But my next pick is Roddy Piper.
Ooh, the hot rod.
Ooh.
First, three reigns with the title, 210 days roughly combined. Piper won the title for the first time January 27, 1981, when the title became the undisputed NWA United States Heavyweight Championship after NWA San Francisco, the last regional promotion to recognize its own U.S. champion, closed. The man he beat for that U.S. title, Ric Flair. in his 5th reign as U.S. champion, Flair, who wouldn't have another reign until 16 years after this. Piper would go on to lose to Wahoo McDaniel in August of '81. But then it's Piper's 2nd reign that gets remembered for the most, because that was his infamous feud with Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Dog collar match.
The dog collar match, indeed. Piper would beat Valentine on April 16th, 1983, for the title. Valentine, however, would win it back 2 weeks later due to referee stoppage. Piper started bleeding through a large cut on his left ear, and the referee stopped the match. The U.S. title would pop up back in Roddy Piper's life in February of 1999.
That's insane.
When he beat Bret Hart for the U.S. title with the help of Mad TV's Will Sasso.
Talk about irony, because Piper beats Hart WrestleMania. Oh no, Hart beats Piper WrestleMania. Piper beats Hart WCW. Payback's a bitch.
I feel like Piper finished all his grudges in WCW.
Pretty much. Hogan, Hart.
Well, I mean, no, technically his feud with Hogan picked back up in 2003.
I mean, it's kind of like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at this point. Fight forever. Until.
My honorable mention here was Ric Flair, but Ric Flair's 6th and final reign, which happened July 7th, 1996, the same day the New World Order was born.
Which is crazy, because Ric Flair is known as having the most heavyweight championship reigns.
Yep.
But they don't know he got the most U.S. title reigns as well. Dude was a bad motherfucker back in the day.
And I mean, it's not like it's an outstanding number. He had 6 reigns as United States champion. Like, it's not like it can't be easily broken. It just hasn't.
It ain't gonna be.
Roddy Piper had 3 reigns as United States champion, and for
I did mention that.
220 days. And that brings me to my next pick, your honorable mention, Ric Flair, which had the most title reigns at 6 for a combined total of 773 days.
Well, and I mean, if you consider vacated a person, see, there's a technicality that the 5th reign is not really recognized. The one where he lost to Piper, but WWE has acknowledged it, and I mean, there's only 5 other superstars with 5 reigns.
Yes.
Which is really crazy when you think about it. You really think there would have been more. There'd be more.
You're absolutely right about that. But I mean, I dare you to find a list that you should put Ric Flair on. You know what I mean? Nature boy that he is.
Men who should have intimate relations with my mother. That's a list he should not be on.
Pretty much. Unless he owes me back child support, then we on there.
Or if he does my car insurance.
Coleco, who's your next pick?
This is the final pick, correct?
This is
so.
the final one.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's so many. But I think this person, it kicked him to go to another place.
I know exactly who you're gonna say.
Steve Austin. And the reason
I was wrong.
And the reason I picked Steve is because of the second reign, in which the second reign was only 5 minutes, the shortest U.S. title reign ever.
Yes.
When he lost to Jim Duggan.
But keep in mind, this is 94. He gets laid off in that year and finds his way in ECW and builds himself back up.
Ooh.
And it's pretty much, to me, the rock bottom, right? Because this is Steve Austin, especially when he was stunning Steve Austin and he was doing his thing. He gets fired by Fax, goes to ECW, builds himself back up, goes in as a ringmaster. But even before that, he had some good clashes with Mikey Ripwreck and ECW. Like it was the genesis of his climb back and becoming the guy that we all like in the first place.
Yeah.
So essentially, that drop from the top, going to rock bottom, and then that was the point of who he became, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Now,
he doesn't get more confident cutting promos until after that.
Interesting fact about that, Duggan would go on to lose the belt to Vader, and then it would be vacated, and then there would be a tournament. And we know that Austin at the time was trying to pitch, it's tough where he could work with, Hogan and Savage. Most people don't remember that in the tournament to crown a new United States champion, one of the first round matches was Randy Savage versus Stunning Steve Austin.
Did Sting beat Stone Cold Steve Austin?
First time.
The first time. That was Sting's first reign, I believe.
I think it was the genesis of WCW.
Yeah, it was 94.
Yeah, pretty much. But that was when the belt carried over, because keep in mind, Luger at the time, and that's another guy we could have put on here. He was the longest reigning U.S. title, U.S. champion ever.
523 days.
But yeah, that was the genesis when WCW split from NWA, and they had to do all that. And plus, Lex Luger won the heavyweight championship, in which he vacated. So he was another one that won the belts simultaneously, but chose to vacate the title along with Goldberg. So only 4 men won the U.S. title and a heavyweight championship simultaneously: Luger, Goldberg, Rollins, and Booker T. But only 2 of them would actually defend both titles at the same time.
Steve Austin held the championship twice for 240 days. I suppose those 240 days were in his first one, considering the second one lasted 5 minutes.
So 240 days in 5 minutes.
Yes. Scooter.
All right. My last pick is giving props to someone who made a last minute, one last hurrah in his career. He knew his time was winding down, and it was surprising that we were even seeing him on TV because he had been working backstage. And then all of a sudden we start seeing promos for this man. My final pick in the legacy of the United States Championship, his name is Finlay, and he loves to fight.
Interesting.
Technically won it July 11th, 2006. Back when SmackDown was being taped, therefore WWE recognizes it as beginning on July 14th, 2006, and ending on September 1st, 2006. He beat Bobby Lashley in his first U.S. title reign, and that's who I thought you were going to say, Kaliko. And lost it to Mr. Kennedy. So a lot of first reigns in the 2006 era, along with a short reign by JBL, and then MVP and Matt Hardy.
That's correct.
In this 2-year period, I should say. And I like the fact that this seemed like it was at least an attempt of recognition for hard work, and like knowing that he would never really be in the main event. Although technically, yes, Finlay does have one pay-per-view main event on record. And that's that infamous Fatal 4-Way, which wasn't supposed to be a Fatal 4-Way.
I don't.
Well, what? Your name, my name. Yeah, I say you're a bastard. Remember that for No Mercy? Finlay, Lashley, Batista, and Kennedy? Was it Kennedy in that one?
Kennedy,
don't remember.
Because I know it was Finlay and Lashley. It was No Mercy.
Oh, I definitely agree with Finlay. That's the man that loves to fight, and I do think that he maybe didn't get maybe as much recognition.
Yeah. Booker. It's Booker, Lashley, Batista, and Finlay. Yes. Finlay's first ever and only main event for the World Heavyweight title.
Finlay's reign.
Oh yeah, during the King Booker.
Finlay was only United States champion once for 49 days. Well, my last pick was taken by Kaliko, Booker T. So I'll replace my last one with somebody I wasn't sure if I should go with, but I think he fits into this.
Reaction.
Huh?
General Erection?
General Erection.
Montel Rontavious Porter, MVP. He was.
Get out.
he held the championship twice for a total of 419 days. He's ranked 5th of all-time combined reigns. And I mean, when he did win it, I dare say you couldn't associate the United States Championship with anybody but him at that time.
Now, I do believe we also could have seen a 7th reign from Ric Flair at the time, because I do believe he did feud with Flair for the title, I think in a one-off at a pay-per-view. This was before, if Flair lost, he'd retire.
Yeah,
because
MVP
was Flair's second to last pay-per-view.
I believe Mr. Kennedy was his Royal Rumble opponent, and the Umaga was in there somewhere.
It was MVP and Ric Flair at the 2008 Rumble.
Okay. There must have been.
It was Batista and Kennedy.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Yes.
MVP, and I mean, look at him now. He's somebody you thought was kind of on the eve of his career, twilight. Back in WWE doing his thing. So MVP, another guy that maybe not as appreciated as others.
Yeah, him and Hardy went hard for that title, to the point where they were tag champions and still like fighting for the U.S. title.
I mean, they friggin' brought
which was an interesting time. That was the first time I saw.
They brought in friggin' Evander Holyfield.
That's right.
To get involved.
I remember that. Yeah. Now, just some stats. Harley Race, our first champion. Our current champion is Sheamus. He's in his third reign, I believe, as champion. And he's already over 300 days combined. You think Harley Race would appreciated or liked our current United States champion Sheamus? I mean, a match between Harley Race and Sheamus. That sounds pretty interesting, no?
Well, we know somebody's chest will get blown through their back, that's for sure.
Now, Ric Flair most reigns, a name with 6, a name we mentioned but was not on any of our list. Lex Luger, he was champion for 523 days, the longest reigning United States champion. Was there a reason you guys didn't pick Lex?
Because I think during that reign, they were trying to push him to be the next. Because keep in mind, during that time, like Ric Flair was kind of like the Oscar De La Hoya of wrestling. Like to break through, you had to get through him. And I felt like Steamboat had to do it. Sting did it, and that reign was to set up Luger to get to that level, right? But the reign wasn't really the most memorable reign, right? Like Dean Ambrose's reign was long, and it's the longest in WWE history, but you really don't associate Dean with that title.
He never defended it, was the problem.
Hey man, you don't. Hey, if you don't defend it, you keep the reign going.
Right, true. What about you, Scooter?
Luger didn't have really any memorable reigns to me. I mean, quite honestly, I would have probably out of the people who had at least 5 reigns, I would have probably put He Who Must Not Be Named.
Right.
Only because it revolved around, it really was a defining part of his evolution as a wrestler. I also probably would have thrown an honorable mention to Ricky Steamboat.
Yep.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I mean, I really didn't want to go so modern.
I understand that.
Because, there are guys that are still, could still have tons of reigns. I wasn't going to go with anybody like AJ Styles or Kevin Owens or Kofi. The only other I would probably accept to replace on my list would probably be Diamond Dallas Page.
Ooh, that would have been a good one. Yeah.
That would have been a good one.
But like we've been talking, Lux, that kind of seems like the story of his career. As he did have some success, but not what it could have been. And maybe not the most athletically gifted. Maybe I don't want to say he wasn't charismatic. I mean, the people did love him.
Yeah, they loved him.
But it seems like he never got to that, God tier when it came to, being the guy. Whether it be United States Championship or, the whole Yokozuna debacle.
Aren't you the guy?
Him being a horseman, like the whole, like it's just it's a whole thing. Because keep in mind, like when Steamboat beat Flair, at least Steamboat had the athleticism, the charisma, and he had the fire. Sting had the face paint, the charisma, and the athletic ability. Luger, he's strong as fuck. Like it didn't register. It registered in WCW during that time, but as you look forward now, it really doesn't. And we didn't even mention that this title is the only title that has a father-son duo as champion, Dusty Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes.
That's not actually true. David Flair was awarded the United States champion by his father.
Rick. But what I'm saying, this championship has the only lineage where a father-son is champion.
Blackjack Mulligan and Barry Windham.
Yeah, see, we got like the U.S. title is the only title that has fathers and sons winning it.
I kind of think that that's not true. But
think about that. No, the only singles title. Let me put it that way. The only singles title where a father has won it and then the son has won it. With the exception of maybe the Intercontinental, which Kurt Hennig and
that's what I was just about to say.
Curtis Axel. God damn it. Son of a bitch. Stole it right out my goddamn.
Both Cody and Dustin have been Intercontinental champions. We got brothers there.
Yeah, you got brothers there, but I'm talking about as far as like father son, like that and the IC title. But this one has multiple though, so that just tells you how crazy. Because think about it, Dusty Rhodes didn't win that title in WCW term. It was more NWA, and then Dustin wins it as a WCW incarnation.
Dick Slater.
Dick Slater and Heath Slater. Dick Slater. I saw Dick Slater. I was like, damn.
What?
Man.
You saw Dick Slater?
I was like,
Where?
damn.
Where did you see these dicks?
at Cheetahs with Tiger Woods. And keep in mind, Scott Hall had a reign. Like, it's a lot of one-timers in this bitch.
The shortest reign, like we've said, Steve Austin was 5 minutes. The oldest person to win the championship was Terry Funk. He was 56 years old, and he held it for 84 days.
I feel like he was 156 at that time.
He held it forever! Forever!
Cause your mother's a whore.
I'm gonna beat on the son of a carpenter.
David Flo was the youngest champion at 20 years old, and he held it for 121 days. The heaviest.
That's a long reign for him. That's a long gap. That's a long time. So he held that belt longer than Steve Austin, damn near. Second reign.
His lifetime silver.
He held it longer than Conan. Damn near longer than Conan. Almost.
The heaviest champion was the Big Show at 500 pounds, and the lightest champion was Kalisto at 170 pounds.
And 32. WrestleMania 32.
Yeah, who could forget his match against Ryback?
I could.
Yeah, me too.
Just like,
Fine. Anything we wanna say about the United States Championship before we conclude?
That The Rock had a reign as U.S. champion?
I said that Kurt Angle had one reign during the
He did.
Invasion Angle.
He did. He beat Rhino for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tajiri also had a reign.
I mean,
Sergeant Slaughter had a reign.
Yeah, well, Sergeant Slaughter had a reign back and a couple of reigns back in the 80s.
Yeah. See, we should name that the All-American U.S. Championship team, the most U.S. characters to win the title, which is obviously Jim Duggan, Kurt Angle, Sergeant Slaughter,
Lex Luger, if you're counting the Made in the USA version.
You don't count that version.
Dusty, the American Dream.
Dusty, the American Dream. We gotta get one more. Who could it be?
Who else?
Holy shit. Maybe John Cena, because he's all American now.
Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger. There you go.
The All-American
American. If you want to go countryside, that'd be like Stan Hansen. Cowbells.
We need more cowbells, damn it.
Need more cowbells.
That will conclude our United States Championship episode of Wrestling with Entertainment. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, vote on YouTube and Castbox. Have a very happy rest of your 4th of July as well. Join us this Wednesday as we interview Janai Kai. And join us this Saturday for another preview and review of whatever will happen in this week. If you want to follow Wrestling With on social media, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling With E for all your Wrestling With needs. You can follow us individually as well. I am at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko?
I am Kaliko. Jinder Mahal, WrestleMania 34, the most shocking win.
I mean, hey, you waited in the line to see him, so.
Oh, I didn't wait in line. I was already in the building. Everybody was waiting on Kalisto Ryback, not the.
And where can they find Scooter Dust?
You can find me celebrating my nation's freedom by blowing up a small part of it. And you can, of course, find me on Twitter at ScooterDust, and, of course, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons. Me and Rico Constantino Jr., along with the rest of the Dragons, play and entertain you with video games, Dungeons & Dragons, and so much more. 20 sides to every story. Come be a part of ours. Also, the remix, Money in the Bank, come your way in just a little under 2 weeks. Also, do you think kangaroos can jump higher than a house? Of course, houses can't jump.
For Coleco Yacht Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.